Hello, and welcome to Monday Market Update, week number 5. Every week, coming at you live here on Facebook or our CO Network, but also the Morales Group, HomeSmart. I'm a real estate agent here in the local Phoenix area, providing information about this crazy housing market. What I wanted to touch upon today, um, hopefully everybody can hear me. What I wanted to touch upon today was a few things. I mean, there's a lot of challenges right now in this market, and I am staring at all this information that just came in from the last week. And it is the end of the month, and January into February. Um, get ready. so, uh, kind of going over some of the numbers and stuff we've been going over every week. There are definitely some good things about being in this market, and then definitely some challenges. So I kind of wanted to break it down, item by item. So if you're a buyer in this market, the one good thing that you want to hold on to is persistence. There's really nothing good or great in this market as far as being a buyer. There's a lot more challenges for sure, but I think if you hold on to persistence, with your agent or with your lender, in combination as a team, you can really come out ahead in this market. Having an agent really be able to communicate and negotiate on your behalf with another agent. I find that, having conversations between agents sometimes really solidifies whether or not they select you as a buyer. But don't give up. So, I mean, people are going out there putting in offers. I have a couple clients right now that we're putting in like 3 or 4 offers a weekend and getting back. And we almost got one last weekend, but I love them to death, and they're very persistent. They're like, "Hey, let's keep going, keep going, keep going," and it's kind of nice to see that, because what happens sometimes, you submit one offer, you finally get up the nerve to submit that offer, and it falls short, and then you're like discouraged, and you're like, I don't think I can do this, but hang in there as a buyer. You can. I've had a couple transactions these last couple months that just happened to go through because of the buyer's persistence. One of them took 9 months to get. The other one took almost a year to get. So again, being persistent, even in this aggressive market, is one thing that you don't want to give up as a buyer. So the challenge is in being a buyer right now. If you're an FHA or VA, for some reason, those offers are getting overlooked. If you're cash and conventional, especially if you have a large amount of cash to put down, those are definitely being looked at too. As far as opportunities go, if you're a buyer right now, whether you're FHA, VA, whatever kind of buyer you are, there are opportunities in the market. And I want to kind of cover that in this next slide. So I'm going to go to, if you have any questions too, you can always ask in the broadcast, but opportunities right now for buyers. Let me show this slide real quick. So the forbearance market. So there are a number of forbearances in the 30 to 90 day delinquency. If you look, and this is a prediction. This isn't exactly me saying there is going to be inventory coming up, but this is kind of like a shadow kind of inventory that people don't really talk about. That really isn't prominent right now, because I think more people are worried about getting a job, more people are worried about paying their mortgage. But as you can see, the last few years, we have flatlined here in between January 2014 to 2018. These are delinquencies, so people not paying their mortgage rates between 30 to 90 days. This is from the CFPB, so Consumer Protection Bureau. You can see on this chart, we've had a number of people being delinquent in their payments for their mortgages. But come earlier last year in March of 2020, you saw a significant drop off, and that's because of the forbearance. The government allowed for forbearances, so banks not forcing you to make your payment if you're given some challenges in your own life, not being able to make that mortgage payment. So there's a significant drop off. So what this is an indication to me that there are people out there that are hurting, that we kind of just dropped off. And the unfortunate part of here, as you can see, the last report is of June 2020. I don't know where forbearances are as we speak. I did see some stats. There's approximately 2.5 million seriously delinquent across the nation. I don't know how that's reflected in Arizona, but that's something to kind of look out for as far as opportunities go. If you're a buyer out there, there could be some listings coming up. I think there are some other people that are concerned about COVID and allowing people in their home. It is a concern. I mean, having people come through your home when you're trying to sell it is a concern, whether or not they're bringing the virus. I've had, at least on one occasion, where I had an agent come through and say, you know what, my client tested positive for COVID. Could you let the seller know? And that was a major concern. And then obviously, there was some halting and showings after that. But I think generally speaking, some people are still concerned about that. So I think there's a lot of supply still out there. And you can kind of see year over year supply. I'll pull this up too. I'm trying to keep it under 15 minutes. It never works out. But this is generally the percentage of supply year over year. So as you can see, we had some good amount of supply, but over the last 2 years, just supply has just been dwindling. And I think really that's the aggravator in our supply issue. It is really a supply issue, not a demand issue. And I know as a buyer out there, you're making all these offers and you're not getting it accepted. Not because I don't believe there are more buyers out there, and you'll see in one of the slides I'll provide in a minute. There are more buyers out there, but I don't think it's significant as the amount of supply. There is a lack of supply in housing. Let's see where we're at. So we're still going out there. So as far as opportunities go in the forbearance market, just keep an eye out for that. As you know, the moratoriums lift, as the eviction notices are decreasing. I don't know what the next, what the political environment will be. I don't know what the government will pass as far as forbearances or evictions go, but that's something to look out for, because that could be inventory that pops up. It's unfortunate on one end if people do go into foreclosure, but it is, again, an opportunity as a buyer to do that. And hopefully you're in a good position to do that, and you're not one of the ones suffering, because unemployment is still pretty high. If you go to the unemployment rate, the latest updates that we have in Arizona, this is from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. You're still fairly high. I mean, back in July, we had a 10% unemployment rate. Due to seasonality, we have, November, December, we have some drop off, but that's because, we do have Christmas and we do have seasonal hiring. I don't know what those numbers are going to look like in January. Those haven't been provided. Those should drop about week 3 in February. So that's something to look out for, to see where things are going. There are some opportunities too, as far as labor goes, but something I kind of keep an eye on regarding unemployment, because unemployment or employment definitely affects housing. So as a buyer, hang on. There might be something out there for you in the next, I wouldn't say the next couple months for sure. I think prices are going to tend to increase. I think inventory is still going to be short. But if there's any kind of shift in the market, whether it's a stock market, I think that's a thing to watch out for. If you're into stocks, if you're into Wall Street a little bit, you can kind of see if there is any major fluctuation there. I believe there'll be a fluctuation in housing too. So generally speaking, I think there is a lot of supply. It just hasn't made it on market yet. Sellers. So the good thing about sellers, I think prices are just high. Sellers are getting over list price, anywhere from 10 to 20,000. You're getting cash offers, full price cash offers. Just there is a lot of cash out there, and I think a lot of it is coming from California. Let me show you. I got charts. I got lots of colors. I got lots of charts. So let me see if that pulled up. Did that pull up? Any questions? Okay. So as you can see from this chart, this is from the Atlas. So this is a moving company. So migration patterns, you'll see that if you just draw a big smile across the United States, you can kind of see where people are going. Blue is really directional. They're gaining more population than losing. So as you can see, Arizona's right in there, right in the blue. California is decreasing. You can kind of see where they're going. They're going between Nevada. There's not really a whole lot of places in Nevada. I would say it's more Reno, kind of Las Vegas area. There's really not a whole lot of places you can go in Nevada. So I believe a lot of them are coming to Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, kind of coming across there. So if you look a little bit more, I guess this goes for buyers and sellers too. Again, I'm trying to stay in 15 minutes, but I'm probably going to go over just to warn you guys. And if you have any questions, please call. Oh, hello, Melissa. Ms. Doña Meli here. So I'm going to go ahead and I don't know if you saw that. So Arizona primarily, I think I got the question or the response this weekend that we have a lot of investors coming in and they're just buying houses. And if you look at United Van Lines, that's not really the case. You're not really seeing that. And I did some kind of like my own kind of study work. I didn't look at statistics. I kind of just pulled up a couple subdivisions this weekend and noticed that people who are purchasing the homes are just people. They're not investors. I think out of one to subdivision, I looked at about 25 purchases in the last 6 months. I only saw 3 people that were investor or appeared to be investor. Predominantly, they looked like single family primary homeowners. And as you can see from this chart, people coming to Arizona off United Van Lines website, um, the primary reason for coming is either job or retirement. A large segment, 37%, is coming for retirement or a job. So there is some financial gain. I still don't believe the price of the homes in Arizona really match the income. The income levels here, the household incomes do not really match the median price of housing in Arizona. So I do believe there's a huge disparity when the household income is reaching between 55,000-56,000 a year, and that's household income. And you have median price of houses at about 360,000, there really is a disparity there, because people who only make an income or a household income of 56,000 can only really afford a $200,000 house, 210, 215. So there is some disparity there. So, but again, just kind of pointing out the reasons why people are coming are mostly for retirement reasons. So if those California retirees are coming here for the sunshine, if they believe that the economy in California is collapsing, they're coming here and they're putting their money here. They're putting their money here in this market. So as far as sellers go, so for a seller, you're doing really well. You're making a lot of money. So if you bought your house predominantly before 2019, you're making an aggressive amount, sometimes 15%, I think, even 18% more than what you would have made a couple of years ago. So year over year. So the challenges with selling your house right now, if you're selling your house, where do you go? If you're selling on a high, you're also buying at a high. So if you come across the fortunate position, like I have one seller I'm working with right now, she is making roughly about 150,000 off her investment back. She purchased back in 2014. She's making about 115 conservatively on her investment. But as she's going out there and looking for a place to upgrade or move to, there really isn't. So there's some other options we're exploring, but as a seller, the biggest challenge is where do you go? So you do have a little bit more strength as far as cash. You can make those over cash offers or over list price offers with cash and extra cash down. You can make that, but also, again, you're also buying at a high. So the opportunity right now for sellers is really just is choice. You can choose who your buyer is. Got to be aware of fair housing laws. I'm sure your agent will go over that, but you're maximizing out your investment. So if you're, let's go over landlords and renters, because I do work with those too, and I'll go over them briefly, because again, I think I am going over on time. Yeah, almost there. So in the rental market, if you're a renter right now, the best thing you have going for you is flexibility. You're not tied into an asset. If you're worried about a market bubble, if you're worried about things collapsing, that is a very valid concern. Our market right now is primed for a shift, for a downturn, or pullback, as they call it sometimes. So right now you have the flexibility to kind of wait and see what's going to be and what's going to happen. So there is a lot of opportunity for you that may be coming up in this shadow supply that may be emerging. So if you're a renter right now, or if you're a buyer, again, the best opportunity is to kind of wait and see what happens in the next few months. That could mean something great for you. That could mean a great opportunity if there is a pullback in the market and housing prices do go down, or there is more supply. You're in a very fortunate position to be selective in that opportunity. But right now, you'll also notice that with that in renting, if you continue and the choice is to continue renting, you're probably facing at renewal price increases, if anywhere, or rental rate increases of anywhere from like $100 to $200 a month. Um, I just renewed a lease for a tenant last year who I think we're paying $1,600 a month. The rental rates in that area are now 1850. So significant increases. So that's something to be aware of. If you have a good landlord, make sure your rent's paid on time. Make sure that, you make sure that landlord's happy with how you're treating the property. You want them, if the choice is to continue to rent, you want them to select you and keep that rental rate lower, because right now a landlord could overcharge you and get the rental rate of $100 to $200 more than what you're probably paying right now at renewal. So again, as there's opportunities for you if you're in the market, if you're a renter looking at purchasing. I do work with a great lender who can get you on the road to purchasing, getting primed and prepped right now. I think we're about 6 to 9 months out from seeing, or being able for a buyer's market, or at least buyers having a little bit more flexibility in choosing and making offers, getting offers accepted. I think we're about 6 to 9 months away from that. And if you're a renter right now and your lease is coming up sometime in July, sometime in October, right now would be a good time to talk to your lender or talk to somebody you trust regarding your lending options to get you ready for that possible inventory that may be coming up on the market. As a landlord, if you're a landlord out there looking at increasing your rental rate, right now is the time to do it. I mean, there's just so many people coming from out of town that it is increasing those rental rates. As buyers aren't able to buy, they go in rent. So if you're a landlord, there are some opportunities there too. So I am officially on the 17-minute mark. So a couple things I did want to share too before I head out. As far as opportunities go, there are some new build opportunities coming. As you can see here in the Land Use Explorer, this is Maricopa Association of Governments. In the purple areas, you can see here that we are zoned for growth, for residential growth. And they're all over the place. I mean, the biggest sum is over here in Buckeye, but you can see little spurts and splatters on the outskirts of town. So if like I said, if you're a renter or a buyer, looking at potentially making that purchase, I'd say the stuff in purple is a good 2 to 5 years out. I mean, there's so much approval that needs to take place, and then building. Right now, there are shortages regarding commodities like lumber and even plastics, because that's being reacquisitioned into helping with COVID and some of the vaccine relief. So a lot of commodities and materials are being redirected and not towards housing. So the stuff in purple, it's a great thing to see. But also, too, the concern is you're probably not going to see any of that building for another 2 to 5 years. But the active building, you can kind of see here, it's on the very, very outskirts, way out in West Buckeye, predominantly right now, on the road to San Diego, way out there, and some out here in Scottsdale, too. You don't really see any in the Southeast Valley, even Maricopa, definitely not in Casa Grande. But there is potential within I'd say, like 2 to 5 years to see that growth out there. Like I said, there's always a lot to cover. I did see an interesting video this weekend. It's very self-explanatory regarding our economy. The way our economy works, it works in cycles, and there's a link on the description to check that out. So it gives you an idea of what to expect and anticipate regarding our economy, which does affect different markets and will affect our real estate market as things go. But that's the end of my time. I know I was going to be over. Let me see if there's anything else I had here. So again, if you guys have any questions or anything relating to real estate, this is the stuff I do all the time. I drown myself in this. I also look at stocks. We're going to be having a show on Fridays that include my my friend Frank, who is in finance. So if you want to hang out and watch those shows to talk about finances and your financial planning situation, he is available. We'll be talking about that. For RCO Network, we do have headshots. We're going to be doing headshots for those small business owners and entrepreneurs that need a new business headshot for 2021. We're going to be doing that here in our building. So if you want to text me or ask me information about that, we'll get you set up on that headshot. But for now, my name is Robert Morales. I need some water because I didn't bring any water. I brought coffee. It seems like that's all I'm wired on lately. But if you have any questions or you have any concerns or anything you want to share anything, just go ahead and write it in the description below. and I'll get back to you. Or if you want to text me, my number is on there. I am available almost 24/7, except from the hours of like 12 a.m. to maybe 6 a.m. You can probably leave that as a moratorium, but every other time is fine. Again, Robert Morales, Morales Group, HomeSmart, Robert Morales with RCO Network, and some of the other things we got going on. So hang in there. We'll see you next week for see how things go in February. All right, guys. Deuces.